Now, this all brings me to here. Now, I've heard the original version of Sakura Sakura a number of times, and this doesn't give it justice. So I'm going to go ahead and make a little bit of a executive change to this to give it a little bit more fun, nice ending to it, like this. So I went ahead and I added in this pitch A right here, which is in the second space of our staff. Now we're almost home, my friends. We have this third line of the staff. This is the pitch B. Now, before I go any further, you've probably been wondering from further up in the song, why do some of the pitches have the stem pointing up and now some of them point down? Well, my friends, that is just simply because this stem would just keep going up and up and it would start to clash with the other lines if I kept going up too far. So what we do here is once we get to the third line, we just flip it upside down. These are both quarter notes. The only difference is the pitch. Don't overthink the direction of the stem too much. So we have B, A, and then we come down to the bottom space for another half note, like we saw earlier in the song, F, which leads us to the last note of the song, which is, of course, a good old whole note. We're on the pitch, bottom line going through it, E. So hopefully we can look at this now and kind of be a little bit more familiar with actually reading the pitches off of the staff. So we're going to go ahead and color code this something else because it is not like the rest of the song. This is its own little phrase, so we'll go ahead and color code that in orange. So with the help of our trusty little cheat sheet here, we've gone ahead and we've now completely gotten all of Sakura filled in and analyzed. We've got all the pitches, we've gotten all of the phrases color coded. There's just one thing. What fingers are we going to use? Because of course, if you guys remember, I had mentioned to you that the home row on playing the keyboard is with our thumb on middle C, finger 1, our middle finger on E, our pinky on G, and so on, just like this, saying that every time we had an E, it was going to be finger 3. Well, that's not going to be the case anymore because we do not actually start the song in any of these notes. So we have to move our hand on the keyboard. So today we're also going to practice something called shifting, which is just moving our hand on the keyboard. What we do not want to get into the habit of is this or just using a couple fingers. We want to use all the fingers. So we're going to go into that right now. So right here, this piece of music automatically gave us the heads up that we're going to be starting on finger number 3. So we're going to be using finger number 3 on A. So if I were to go over to a keyboard and have our right hand here, our middle finger, if we're going to start our middle finger on A, and the next pitch of the song is B, it would make sense that the next key right next to A is B. So we'll use right finger 4 for playing the pitch B. That being said, we can go ahead and fill in our first 2 measures. We have finger 3 on A, we have finger 4 for B. Now that brings us to the next measure. And we now can see why we started the song on finger 3, because we go A, B, C. So we could just go middle finger on A, ring finger on B, and we can use our pinky for C. A, B, and C. So now I've labeled all of our A's 3, B's 4, C's 5, all the way through to here. Now we have to figure out what we're going to do with this F here. This is going to be played with the finger farthest to the left on our right hand, which is of course going to be our thumb. So we're going to label this as 1. We can now see that we've used 4 of the fingers on the hand. We have not used our index finger or pointer finger at all. We'll be using A, B, C, and F to play this beginning section. This will get us through the first 2 phrases. But now, when we get to our third phrase here in yellow, they've already labeled this E right here as finger 3. They even put a big circle around it to make sure we know that we are now going to take our hand on the piano and move it so that we're no longer going to have our middle finger on A. We're now going to have our middle finger, finger 3 on E, which hopefully rings a bell to when we learned Mary Had a Little Lamb. With our middle finger on E, that of course means that our thumb now will be playing the pitch C, so we can label that as finger 1. And because of this, we can now just use what we already knew in the previous time with C being 1, G being 5. We can use that to fill out the rest of this phrase. Of course, we do encounter a problem when we get to this last note, B, because we don't have a finger for B, which means that we need to shift again. And luckily, they've already given us some help here. They told us we're going to play that with finger number 2. So what we would actually do here is go E, E, C, B, and roll our pointer finger over our thumb. So we go from the D over the C to hit the B, which we'll take a look at in just a moment when we get over to the keyboard. So now we can go ahead and fill in, just copy and paste from our blue phrases and our pink phrases, the fingerings. So I've gone ahead and I've labeled all this in. So we start with our middle finger on A, and we stay there until we get to the yellow. Anytime we go to the yellow, we have to shift our hand so the middle finger is now on E. When we get back to the blue, we shift back up so our middle finger is on A. And same thing here, we shift back when we get to the yellow. The pink and the blue are both with our middle finger on A. And this is all fun and dandy until we get to the very end. Last three measures here, we have labeled in orange. And right here, they circle the finger number 1 to show us that we have done a third major new shift. Now, of course, finger 1 is on the pitch D here, which is separate from what we have here. So here we're going to have our thumb on D. So just roll with me here. If our thumb is on D, E is directly to the right of that. So we'll just play E with our index finger, which is finger 2 or a pointer finger, which means that F would be D, E, F. So 1, 2, you guessed it, 3. Now our middle finger would be on F. We're getting all over the place here. Now we're skipping the note G to go to A. And we also have a B after it. So rather than using our ring finger on G, we're actually going to take our fingers and spread them out a little bit. So we skip over the G key. We'll use finger 4 to play A here. Now we're really starting to play piano here. We're getting away from the kiddie stuff. We're getting to the good stuff because now we still have an extra finger to reach up to that B because we skipped over G. We went D, E, F, skip G, A, B. 1, 2, 3, skip over G. A is 4, B is 5. And now we can just use these same fingers to finish this off. A again with the 4th finger. We'll use F with our 3rd finger. And we will end the song with our index finger, pointer finger, on, of course, this is a whole note, so you would have to hold it a little longer. All right, my friends, we've done a lot of talking, and it was really necessary. We learned how to read the rest of the staff today. We've learned about more phrasing. We've talked about measures. We got a song with 4 phrases that shifts our hand around the keyboard quite a bit. So now we are not just stuck in one place. We're actually playing like a real piano player now. So we're going to take this over to our keyboard or our virtual piano if that's what you have, and we're going to go ahead and learn this song now. So here we are. We have our piece of music here. We've got our piano, so we can hop right into this. So let's take a look. The first note of the song, of course, is an A. Now, if we remember from when we did the last 2 songs, when we did Jingle Bells, of course, and when we did Mary Had a Little Lamb, we kept our hands with a home row from C to G, with C, D, E, F, and G. But of course, with this song starting on A, we're actually going to be using the key directly to the right of G, which is A, right here. Now, you can find it with the group of 3 black keys in between the 2nd and 3rd black key. This white key right here will be A. Now, the song here right up says we're going to start on finger number 3, which is our middle finger on our right hand. So we're going to put our middle finger right there on A. B will be its neighbor, and then if you guys notice, our pinky will end up on the next C up. Now, of course, we did mention this as C, middle C, but this is going to be the C up here on the 3rd space of the staff because it's a higher pitch C. They're both called C. They're just one is higher than the other. That's what we have here. So we'll go ahead and we can learn our pink phrase right here. So we're going to take our middle finger, put it on A, and our ring finger, finger 4, on B. So we have 2 chord notes and a half note. Hold that for 2 beats. 2 chord notes and a half note. So A, B, A, B. Notice I'm holding the B a little bit longer because it is a half note. Pretty simple first phrase. And of course, that's going to come back later on the song. So there you go. That's the first phrase done. Let's take a look at the blue phrase here. We have A, B, C, B. 3, 4, 5, 4, which means that's all it is, just using those 3 fingers. I know you're being tempted to probably want to use these 3 fingers. We have to use the middle, the ring, and the pinky because the next measure, A, B, A, F, goes 3, 4, 3, 1. Now, here's the F, my friends. We're skipping over the G key. Hopefully, we remember F from, of course, last week when we did Mary Had a Little Lamb. F is the key we skipped. So that's where our thumb is going to be right now. So if we take this blue phrase, A, B, C, B, A, B, A, F, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 4, 3, 1. Okay, my friends, so we're starting to run short here on time. I highly encourage you guys to stay with this. This video is going to keep going, but make sure you just leave it open. And you can come back to this after your last class and finish off the song. I really think you'll enjoy it. Please don't give up. You've got this. And make sure you're not late for your last class, and come back to the video afterwards. You may have also noticed here when we went over this B and A here in this measure right here on the first measure of the second line, we have a quarter note and then we have two eighth notes. Notice here, they're connected by a beam. That's why I'm going faster instead of going A, B, A, F. I'm going A, B, A, F. Because we have to put these two notes, this B and A, on the same beat. If we remember back to when we talked about rhythm. Okay, so now we should have the pink phrase and the blue phrase done, which leaves us just with this highlighter yellow phrase, the third phrase of the song. This is where we're going to have to take our hand and shift it. So far, we've had our middle finger on A, our pinky up on the high C, and our thumb on F. But here it shows we've circled this number 3, which means we are going to take our hand, move our middle finger down to E. Hopefully we're pretty familiar with putting our middle finger over here on E, because that's where we were for the last 2 songs we've learned. The original home row. That's where we're going. So simply you're going to take your middle finger from A and boom, move it down here. E, C, E, F. That's 3, 1, 3, 4. And then again, we see this quarter, eighth note, half note rhythm, just like we did back at the end of the blue phrase. So we have now E, C, E, F, E, E, C, B. Or 3, 1, 3, 4, 3, 3, 1. And now notice here, to get to the B is below C. I take my pointer finger, cross it. I cross it over my thumb. That's how we reach over to get that B. So we have E, C, E, F, E, E, C, B. Notice I'm not moving my whole hand. I'm just crossing my pointer finger over my thumb, just like that. So now we have the pink phrase, the blue phrase, the yellow phrase, all learned here. So all we got to do is just, once we're comfortable and we've practiced, I highly suggest you get each color phrase done each separately first. Then we can put this all together like a Lego set. The one last thing we do have to learn is how this song ends, which is going to be thumb on D, which is the neighbor key to the first home row we learned. So now we've had a home row from C up to G. We have a home row with our middle finger on A to start this song, which means from F to C. And the last way we're going to end this song is with our thumb on D, which leads our pinky up further, but we're going to mess around here like I mentioned earlier. So we have D with our thumb, finger number 1. We play E with our index finger, finger number 2. F with our middle finger, finger 3. But notice here, this is where things got weird. I mentioned this earlier. We're going to skip over to A with our ring finger, which means we have to skip over the G key. You have to think C, D, E, F, G. We're skipping G, going to A with our ring finger to end this measure. The next measure begins with a B with finger 5, which B, right here, next to our C key, right to the right of the group of 3. Then we come back down to A, back down to F, which is where we skip that key, and we're going to end the song with our index finger on E. So this will all sound like, notice here with the half notes, it's all quarter notes, and then we have a half note and a whole note. So we have whole note, 2, 3, 4, and then we're done. And that's the whole song. So let's go put this all together now, and I want to encourage you guys to play this along with me. Now, of course, to get to this point is going to take quite a bit of practice, and it may be kind of frustrating for you at first, but if you think this song sounds cool and you dedicate yourself and put some time into this, especially maybe over the course of a couple of days, maybe 2 or 3 days, shouldn't take you any much longer than that, but getting this in the first session, sitting down and doing it in the first time, very difficult. So don't be too frustrated and try not to give up. So the biggest key here, learn each colored phrase inside and out so you know how to put them together. Once you've learned all the 4 different phrases, pink, blue, yellow, and orange, that's when we can put the whole song together here. So I brought up my trusty old metronome. I've set it to a speed of 88 beats per minute, which is a moderate speed, right where we want this, not too fast. We actually want it on the slow side, which is also going to make it easier for us. Make sure we remember to count our quarter notes, our half notes, our eighth notes when they pop up, 2 notes to the beat, and the whole note right at the end of the song. When we get done, we should end up with something like this. We'll give ourselves 4 beats, get used to the count, and then here we go. Shift, cross, shift, shift, cross the index, shift, shift, skip, skip, and hold. 2, 3, 4, and then we're done. That's the end of the song. This song has a really very attractive sound to it. It's a bit mysterious, almost a little bit uncomforting. But this is a beautiful song. I hope you guys enjoy the way it sounds, and I highly encourage you to give this a shot because we're actually going to take the song and use it in a different way next week. If you've enjoyed this, I really hope you have. I hope this inspires you guys to get a little bit deeper into your music understanding and apply what we're talking about. So we've talked an awful lot. The fun part is when you actually get to take it, put it in your hands, and do something with it. So here you go. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. Thank you. So that's all the time we had for this week, guys. I really hope you've enjoyed this song. It's got a very mysterious, beautiful sound to it. When you hear this song, it's very recognizable, especially if you watch a lot of film or TV, maybe even anime. You may realize that this song's used a lot to represent Japanese culture. And I just want to make sure you guys understand the background of it. And it's always cool to be able to play it because it's a good hit when you play this around people. So, all right, guys, thank you very much. And I'll see you again next week, guys. Do your best. See you around. Bye.